Oops.
Thank you.
Do you have a copy of that?
Great, so we call into order and Peyton, you mind doing attendance real quick? Thank you.
Is this Student Government Association?
Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, saw you last year. Welcome again.
I have not used it since.
Yeah, I think I need mention it to me. Nice. We go, Peyton?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up.
Good. So while you do that, I'm start with my report. Great. So what I've been telling you is that I would like to do a project with solar panels, and last meeting said that unfortunately LR is a non-profit, so we cannot put solar panels up from it, and we start to looking for like outdoor tables that has like solar panel tops. They have like a USB port where you can connect your phone to put like outside of Shell Plaza. So I got like different type of them. I'm gonna pass them around later so you can see. The main issue with all of these that I was checking is kind of the price. They go one very cheap that I would like to kind of do a tryout with that one. It's $73 and see how it works. It's like an umbrella that has a UV board and some LEDs inside and a small solar panel on top. So hopefully that will work. If it does, that will be actually a great option because of the price. The other two companies offer something similar in the idea, but more complex, and the technology they use is much better. But the price of those two increased like exponentially a lot, going from like a 1,500 to 2,000, and then a very fancy one with several outlets and lights goes to like 9,000, which is quite a lot. So I'm kind of discarding away that option. So what I would like to kind of do later on is you kind of take a look at them and then give me a little bit your feedback of what you think, and hopefully try to order one of like the cheapest one and really do a tryout for the spring, so then we can take a decision and keep moving with the idea. So that's it. You can go with the secretary, or Year, which is not here. I can pull up her report. Great. So this is the treasurer's report. So the budget now is $28,031. Last week we paid for the Shakespeare English class, their trip to West Virginia, $760, and also the both football games, 300 per games, and they won one's game, so we are very happy. If you were there, we were with Dr. Brandis. What a play! What a catch! Great. So also subtracting the class president's $1,000 budget dollars, our remaining budget will be 23,000. So today we're gonna have three different groups presenting to us for requesting budget. One is the intramural with Jay Hall. He's gonna be talking about archery. I'm gonna let him explain the whole details later on. Then we're gonna have the rock team, and then we're gonna have the model UN. And again, I will not take their momentum, and they will explain later. So that's all for the treasure report. Then let me go back to the minutes. Then we go with the class presidents. Yes, Matt is not here, so Cassidy is the next one.
Okay, she said she had nothing to report for the junior class, and that this week she should have an estimate of the handprints left on the LR boards that we're doing. The junior class is doing.
Will you mind repeating that again, sorry?
That she had nothing new to report. That she
Okay.
should get an estimation of what the handprints on the board should be.
Okay.
Like the board, against board.
Again, my apologies, but I keep skipping you.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Should I go?
Yes.
Alright. As of right now, there's no, judicial reviews, there's no student conduct council, but one will be held next week, so there will be one by our next meeting, by the time our next meeting comes.
Perfect. Okay, then we have Brett.
Yeah, I don't have anything new to report on either side. We weren't able to meet last week because of Thanksgiving. So we are meeting next Wednesday, and within the new year I will hopefully have a budget proposal for you guys, and we'll have much more information on who will be present at the Spring Bazaar and where it will be held and all the logistics for it.
Olivia.
So I met with the freshman class council last Friday. 27 people had responded to the email and 17 came to the first meeting. I originally thought that there was no limit to how many members could be on my council, but now looking at the Constitution, it says only 6 class council members are allowed. So I will have to figure out a process to
eliminate.
Fit
yes.
in the herd.
I
Is
mean,
it 27? What was it? 27?
More interesting.
And 17 came.
like officially in your council will be like 6 people, but then if they want to collaborate in some shape or form, they're more than welcome.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so our main idea is doing like a color run. Maybe on the intramural field. That's just the idea for the location currently. Where like people throw the colored powder at people. And they could have white shirts with black like designs on them. So that like when they're done they're like colorful. And they said sororities and fraternities and different groups can have tables for events, and we've got like food trucks and music. So that's our idea currently.
That would be spring semester,
Yes.
obviously.
And that's all for now.
Jason. That was nice.
I can if you want. So we have Winter Wonderland tomorrow, which is super exciting. I'm so excited. We have a carriage ride, Santa workshop where we make ornaments, the candy cane toss, pin the ears and nose on the elf, snowman, and reindeer, and then a hot cocoa bar, and then Santa photo booth, and we have a gift wrapping race station and a snowball relay and sweatshirts. And then we have on December 3rd the Christmas movie, which is Elf, and then we have December 6th is Final Flip, and we're just planning for spring semester, all the activities that we're doing next semester.
And did you guys post when December 3rd the movie time is going to be?
Yeah. I think it's going to be at 7. I think it's 7 to 9.
In Duck.
Yeah.
Emily.
So currently I'm trying to get the person over the cafeteria to respond and see exactly what his deal is going to give the commuter or the commuters or us, I should say. And he hasn't responded to my email, so I'm just waiting for that and wrapping everything up to get ready for him. Oh, by the way, the commuter breakfast is going to be on the 18th of January, which is a Friday. And I think we're decided from 9 to 11. So that you guys have the 2 hours with it.
Okay.
And can you remind us what are you waiting for information back on?
About the breakfast, is that what it is?
Yes, the commuter breakfast.
Oh, okay, so those two are related.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting. He told me he was going to give me a deal for it, and he hasn't responded back of what the deal would be.
Get that in writing.
Yes, but he would give me a deal. Yes, it's been
Okay.
emailed.
That's important, actually. We won that. Great. Caitlin and this. Okay, so today we have actually one RAC representative. Daniel is joining us today. He's from Morgan. So to give you an idea, basically, our goal is to have like a representative of each dorm, and then just for you to come and share if you have any opinion about dorms, any concern on something that you would like us to take care of, or to just look for our attention. So please, if you have anything that you would like to say, feel free to share it.
Okay. As of right, I mean, for like a normal person, like academic wise, like I know you really try hard, but sometimes like when I get woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning, like every morning almost, because the football players are so loud, it's kind of like it just gets annoying sometimes. And I know like you can't be there all the time, and you can't really handle all that yourself, but it's like it's a lot. Like they get really noisy a lot. So yeah. Well, sometimes they get so loud I don't understand how anyone's asleep. But
That's a good question.
just being honest there.
Do you have anything about the dorm that you see that could change or that you feel like
So
could improve?
our particular bathroom on my side, I'm on the long hall for the guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like actually falling apart. Like I didn't know like the paint on the wall on the back part of the showers that's actually flaked off in sheets now.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular bathroom, the showers don't get warm at all. So it's like I don't even use those showers anymore.
That's not good. One thing I would suggest with these kind of concerns is that you kind of document them with your photographs.
Yes, sir.
And then forward them to Dean Katie, and she can send them on to housekeeping or maintenance.
Okay.
At least you've done something. And were you elected or you volunteered? Or?
I volunteer.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of that I know, like the pain and stuff they do it, it's
What dorm are you from?
Warren.
wonderful, best dorm ever.
Not biased at all.
It's considered the freshman dorm.
Huh?
It's considered the freshman dorm.
There's more
Cemetery.
Yeah, it's
Um,
freshman dorm.
Do you have any?
Yeah, so I apologize for being late, but I have a Dr. King paper due in an hour, and so we were doing the final touches on that. For any business students, y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe Dr. Brandis does too. But I'm trying to think. I guess we finished up this summit. Kim Pates was awesome. Of all the ones who spoke, I think she would be the one I would invite back. I would recommend inviting back. Just so y'all know, whoever I will be in the next couple weeks preparing anytime I leave a position, which y'all know I am, I always prepare this is how I did it. Here's how we could have done it better. How I could have done it better. I do that for every leadership role that I'm in. So we'll be working on that. I'm a little busy right now, but I'll get that to somebody at some point. Just kind of saying timelines of what I think if this event is to continue or something similar to it, how it can be done a little bit better. What I learned that went well, what I learned that didn't go well, whatever. Overall, I'm happy with it. I think attendance. In my head, if I see leadership, I'm there, but that's not always the case. I'll talk about that in the document that I prepare. But I'm thankful for those who did come, especially in this group. I think it's definitely important, and one of the most important things that you can do. I'm trying to think. We'll talk about this probably with new business. Again, like I said, I am going to be stepping down because of graduating in about 2.5 weeks. I do have a recommendation for a replacement, and I think we'll be talking about that probably with new business.
Yes.
Yeah, with new business. And I'll
First
then,
we will handle all.
yeah,
of
and
the
I'll
business.
officially offer my resignation to the president at that point as well. Okay, one more thing. So I forgot these at home. I'll find everybody throughout the next couple weeks. But I do have cards for our speakers.
Like thank you cards?
Their thank you cards, yeah, I just wrote out, hey, thanks for, they're LR brand, they're cool. Then Katie gave them to me. One for everybody. And I've signed it, from the SGA, and then I've signed it personally. So as I see people, if I see I don't get everybody, I'm sorry. You can sign that, just saying, thank you for being part of this. And then I'll touch on, I guess that'll be new business as well. Because I have another idea for the students that we had come. That's something I'd like to do for them.
Did you take attendance in some way, or did you have a sign-up sheet? Or are you talking about the students who are on the panel?
Who are on the panel? Yes,
Okay.
who are on the panel.
Yeah.
The 4 students on the panel.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
The rest get combo credit. That's enough.
Yeah, that's good. No, so that's all. That's all I've got.
That's good. There you go.
Hey Taylor.
One question, Taylor. I'm sorry, this is Saraya. I'm gonna.
Yes.
That's okay. If you have any report from Matt, if not, we move on.
I do.
Yes.
Just a second. He said he sent email to Lakeisha and he's waiting for her to proof it. And he also wanted me to let you know this will be his last meeting that he'll have to miss. And he's sad he could have come back, but go Bears, and let's beat Valdosta this weekend.
Oh,
Go Bears.
go
Thank you.
Bears.
Thanks.
Good. So we're done with the reports now, and we can move to your guesses. Great. So I think the model UN can go first. Yes. So, if please would you like to explain as well for us?
You have had a model UN class here at the university, I gather, 40 years ago. The students, and I had them this past spring helping take over for a little bit, asked if they could have a club. So we went through the process over the summer and established one, and have 12 or 15 people now who are listed and come fairly regularly to the meetings. With that in mind, they asked if they could go to a conference, so I put in a request at the closest one at the time, which is Southern Regional in Atlanta, Southern Regional Model Unit. And we had 12 delegates who signed up and wanted to go. I made the booking for them. Amy was going to try to get this to you before we left, but she had a chaotic schedule and did not manage to get it here. And so what I did was keep track of the receipts. I put it on my credit card so that we didn't let students not get to do it. They did a very good job. And I've talked with Laura Dobson of the International Studies, and she wants to have them use the spring class. We suggested take at least part of that spring class to an international conference. They're already starting working on fundraising so they can make sure they aren't just taking money and going, but try to do it. I've also set it up so the class can be large enough to take those who don't want to do the larger step or are not ready for that, because there's one in Charlotte that I can take the rest of them to just drive down the road and try it. The initial thing I sent with Amy had a cost that included transportation down and back. We ended up being able to take just a couple of cars. We had 2 of us had fairly large cars, and we drove, so there's no real cost on that. But the cost that I had asked for was to cover their registration and the housing. We were under a deadline that had to be registered, and the housing would keep it low because it goes up as you get closer to time. It was an automatic penalty, so I kept it within that. But that put us the actual cost was about $2,500. $2,000 would give us enough to cover most of it. They can help with picking up the other pieces. But most of these students are excited. I have biology, chemistry majors, and of course, international study, but religion is a pretty wide, diverse group that decided they like what they're doing with this and learning about the world. But we were asking for help to cover this initial conference. If they keep it up as a club, I'm gonna set it up so they do fundraising in the spring to save, so that in the fall it'll already be planned and put together rather than having to come and ask each year. That's not logical. They should have to earn it ahead. Since literally club formed as school started, there wasn't a lot of way to make that happen. It's taken time for everything to be registered. But that's what they're asking for at this point. Does that help in terms of
Yeah.
explaining.
Absolutely.
I think modeling is exciting, and I think it should be for every major. I love the fact that you have a class, it's a poli-sci class, which makes it harder for a lot of other students to see that as something they can do. If you can make it as a club that also goes and learns the same skills, then you open it up for a lot more students. So, I'm not completely impartial on that. But thank you for letting me make the case for Amy. She called me at 6:25 and said, could I come for her? Yes, I live about 15 minutes away, so I didn't break the speed laws, but I made it.
Do we have any questions?
You said that they were trying to go on an international competition.
Yes, they've been going, I gather, with the class, but I got called literally in December last year if I could do the class in January. And what they do is they just have the class of 7 to 8 people usually, and they take them up to nationals with no experience, and they enjoyed, but they almost never won anything, and not gaining the experience you could or giving the school the reflection of doing well. So I suggested that we try to do more. And so if they're wanting to do more, then I'm going to make the limitation of the 7, max 9, probably 7, that do the Harvard World have done at least Atlanta or something before, because that's going for an international conferences. You don't want to jump in the deep end. They need to know what they're doing and how to be able to enjoy it and do well.
So my question is, are you gonna like ask for funding for that as well, like later on?
We'll start out, we have the NUN class fund, so it's like $8,000 is in line. We'll probably have to ask for additional, because what I did in presenting it and getting their agreement is that, say, we had 8,000, we had usually ask for about 4, what Dave Breyer said is he usually asks for about 4 from SGA. And I said, I can take them, same number or even more for that same price total, to an international conference, if they're willing to do it that way. And Laura Dobson and Dave said this want to do it, so I'm trying to watch their budget and figure out where we go. But we'll probably be asking for that 4,000 we usually ask for the spring class. That'll be a class, not for the club. And part of that class will be driving down to Charlotte to be able to make sure we don't let somebody not get to go because they can't do the international.
Okay, thank you.
Just to like give you an idea, what they're asking now is for the trip to West Virginia. No.
What we did is I paid the registration and the housing for the Southern Regional, that the club was their first activity this fall.
Yeah. So it's like a arrangement of the total they're asking is for $2,000 that cover the hotel and the registration. Yes.
Who are y'all representing this year, or have y'all already decided on like?
Who's going to the Harvard World?
Well, you're just asked, like, she said that y'all represented or argued for like a
Which country
certain-
did you
Okay,
represent this?
well, we
this time?
represented Morocco at Southern
Okay.
Regional, and we've been assigned to represent Bulgaria, the Harvard World. I'd never let them try a really familiar country because you have to step outside of your comfort zone and walk in someone else's shoes. I let them do it the U.S. once. I taught for 30 years in Charlotte, and that was a mistake. For a lot of reasons. Everybody thinks they know U.S. policy, and therefore you might as well have a large target that says "hit me" because of yes. And the other half of it is they don't have to research. They feel like I already know it. You need to stand in somebody else's shoes and figure out how they feel. So, that's the goal.
And this club doesn't do any fundraising?
The club is, yes.
It is?
Yes. And that's why I said I don't have to ask for all of it, because we're trying to get some of it paid in our fundraising to cover the other edges. We'll also be doing continued fundraising, even though technically the club is focused for fall, in the spring, so that next fall, they won't end up having to come back and say, hey, can you pay for this ahead of us? Or they should have to do, you own it more if you actually put some work into it to get the money together, so.
Do the students pay anything? Like,
Well, they pay for their own gas, and a couple of them pay for several of the other pieces. We had to do a little adjusting on the rooms and the registration based on the fact that we were having to do it late and juggling, so they picked up the extra on that. About total out of what we expect, they paid probably $500 out of what we put together. So you should never be able to get it free. That's the one thing I had a problem with the spring class. You don't appreciate it if you haven't had to put some kind of blood and sweat into it. You should have to own it because you're working for it. So in Charlotte, the chancellor offered, he gave us $20,000 line item, and I told him how hard we were working it, how hard it was to get where we were going, and he said, how much more do you need, you wanna cover? I'm like, no, they need to do fundraising, if you're gonna make it so that it's theirs. Your funding takes the pressure off, because the year before we had to stay, one step above a brothel. Money, we were and it was a beautiful place, we went to Taipei, but I said, I don't ever wanna have to check.
You said that you guys are going to try to do international in the spring, is that correct?
What we're doing is, Morocco this past fall, that's what we just did. We're supposed to be doing Bulgaria at the Harvard World this spring. I just got the assignment 2 days ago.
Okay, so you guys, you don't have a budget of how much it's gonna cost
No,
for
I
next?
do, yes, in order to be able to get approval for them to be able to take it international, I had to go ahead and give her a total budget, as far as I could guess on what Harvard was gonna cost. I've done the search online for cost of air and cost of travel, and so I kept it within, that's why I could prove it was gonna cost me more than what it did before to do. So, yes, a long time on my notes.
So last year, Molly, you received 4,000.
That's right.
This year, you're asking for 6 total.
Yeah,
For
for the
total, okay.
club for the fall and the class
Okay,
in the spring.
so understanding that the 4,000 isn't a guarantee
I
if this
understand
gets
that,
paid
and that's why I
out.
said, well, I told Laura that, I said, this is a little ask, it will depend on your budget and what you can do, and I understand that.
But right now,
The
you're
right now,
asking
what we need is just to be able to pay back, but what I have
reimburse,
is just to
sure.
be able to get taken for the year. They should not have it in for you.
Is any other question? No. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you
Is
for
it okay?
coming. Yes, and then we will get back to you.
I
You're
appreciate it.
all
I
set,
literally
you
got the
know.
call as I was sitting down.
Yeah, I mentioned the episode. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for all your work.
I love Monty when I'm cooked. I hate it. I'm not exactly, but I also love watching an SGA that's genuinely student led. I'm impressed because so many clubs and organizations are sort of student led, but are faculty doing a good percentage of it. You guys do it all, which is really cool. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
And I miss sleeping, so I hope you have fun. Yep, I will miss that as soon as I step outside.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Drive safe.
Jakes, since you're here, we'd like to go ahead.
I know.
All right. All your questions.
Pass those around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jake. I was actually in SGA for several years, so it's kind of weird to be here and not be just sitting at the table. So I'm in charge of intramurals as part of what I do on campus. It's only a part-time position. Long story short, it's not very complicated. We offer sports for students on campus that aren't involved with actual NCAA athletics, and actually a lot of students that do also play athletics for LR. And so a lot of the stuff that we offer is kind of the traditional football, basketball, ultimate frisbee, that kind of thing. And that's fine, and a lot of students participate in that kind of thing, but we're kind of trying to branch out a little bit and be able to offer some things to students that maybe wouldn't just necessarily be attracted to kind of the traditional quote-unquote ball sports. And so what we have kind of cooked up here is, in talking with the representatives from Archery Tag, Archery Tag. And so basically what it is you can see on the invoice kind of exactly what we would be purchasing, but it's basically, if you can imagine people playing paintball, it's paintball with bows and arrows, basically. And so it comes with kind of bunkers, like obstacles that you set up, and then you basically just play. And so it would be something that we could in the intramural gym set up the obstacle. And then there's different ways you can play. It comes with like a kind of like a target that you can have on each side, and so the teams can be trying to eliminate the other teams like target. But essentially it's just people running around with bows and arrows shooting at each other and having a good time. And so like I said, it's really something that we're trying to offer that is like new and exciting and interesting, besides just, hey, come play flag football, because not everybody is attracted to the kind of the more physically demanding sports. And so You can see at the very bottom of the invoice, I think the listed price is almost $3,900. So we're just asking for $4,000 to just kind of help us cover, because the tax is not factored into that. And so factoring in the tax, we'll still have to eat some of that, but we're asking for just the $4,000 to kind of begin helping with that. So almost all of the costs minus probably a couple $100, which we would pick up. In terms of fundraising, we haven't fundraised any for several reasons. One is that in terms of the department, it's basically just me, and I'm part-time, and then Jonathan Rink, who is also housing, conduct council, assistant, I think associate dean of students also. And so everyone that we have kind of involved with the department are all work study students and an intern that I have. So we haven't completed any fundraising. We've thought about it. I just don't see a way that we really could without actually end up paying out money to front the cost, and we just don't have the manpower to do it. Because I'm basically full-time with my other part-time positions, and I'm also in grad school. And I'm basically in charge of all the leagues that we have going on right now for just the regular intramurals. So that's what we're asking for. Like I said, it's really just something that we're trying to increase student participation. We do really well for a school our size, limited by facilities. Having to fight athletics and other departments for the use of facilities on campus hurts us. And so having something that we can just kind of set up and tear down and not have to paint fields and do that kind of thing, and that we could play of the evening in the indoor gym would be something to increase student participation, which in turn increases retention. It increases the student experience, and just overall is something that we think would really kind of enhance the experience of students on campus. And so that's what we're asking for. Like I said, we've had really good turnout. We had 8 teams for flag football this fall, which, as far as I know, is the most that we've ever had. And so like I said, we do a lot of things, and we're trying to do something that is different, kind of a wow factor. So, and it's something too that I'm sure we would have no issue like letting CAD use it, or any other student-related activity on campus, student orgs that want to use the equipment. We would definitely be okay with renting that out. So. Our budget for the year is about $4,000, so it's not necessarily something either that we can just, you pay half, we'll pay half. I mean, we use all of our budget, and it's not enough as it is to just basically do the regular intramurals. So that's why we've come here to ask you guys for assistance, and I think I covered everything. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
How exactly did y'all find archery tag?
This is a project that
I'm
Jonathan
sorry.
and if you guys remember Cody Shaw, he was the RD in the LLC. They cooked up last year, and just never got around to implementing. I don't know how they found it, honestly.
I've done it several times.
Yeah,
I
let's
would
see.
say
Let's see.
I have a really bad picture.
Look at that bow band, man.
And I'm really good at it. Let me just.
So he wants to do it so he can
It's-
dominate and win.
No, it is fun. It is a lot. The last time I played it was this past spring, and we were in a gym that had a balcony, and so
Oh,
we were up there
awesome.
like sniping kind of thing. Yeah, it's fun. It is a fun game, and I had to go back 3.5 years to find this picture. So.
Yep. The invoice listed it. That is what we've already received a discount. If you look kind of on, there's the price line and then there's the discount. We got a discount. I think it's just because we're at a university, so it's educationally affiliated. But then you can see kind of the amounts and quantities. It's basically everything that we would need in terms of the equipment, but also replacement stuff, replacement strings, replacement arrows, that kind of thing. So.
Would this
Yeah.
be a year-round sport, or would it just be in the spring?
So we have different options. I mean, in terms of like, I think it would be awesome if we offered it as a seasonal sport where everyone had like a set team and then they competed to see who was going to be the best through the course of the season. Probably the first go around, once we got it, it would be something that we would offer probably like on a Saturday as like a tournament, or just come out and play. Just kind of let people know that we have it. It depends. I mean, for flag football, we did a full season because usually there's a good turnout for flag football. We do a full season for sand volleyball. For 3-on-3 basketball this fall, we just did like a weekend tournament, just because it was kind of short notice and we wanted to get it in before Christmas. So we have options. There's no set in stone. If everyone loves it and wants to play it, then we can do a full season of it, and everybody can have teams and that kind of thing. So really, I mean, just we're limited in what we can do with what we have, and so that's why we're here.
It's gonna sound a weird question. Where exactly are you going to store this? And if it is going to be, where is it storing? How is it going to be protected? Because we don't want to have to fork out this money again next year. No offense to you.
Yeah, no, the bunkers there, they're listed. Actually, you can actually store the equipment inside, like the bunkers, which kind of tear down. But we have an intramural closet that we store all the equipment in, so that wouldn't be an issue. That I keep it.
Is this limited to only people that are students that live on campus?
No.
How do you get your information out?
To who?
Like to students? Because I actually did not know about flag football until like just now.
Well, mostly we post flyers on campus. Peyton is head of my marketing department.
Yeah.
And my marketing department, I mean, it's just
flyers
Peyton.
that we put up, the giant flyers in Cromer. We have
Flyers,
Instagram
posters.
page.
We've talked about email blasts before. We usually do something kind of fun.
I
I had
put a lot of
Peyton
work
dress
into
up like a
posters.
referee and run around blowing whistles and like throwing flags at people, telling them to sign up.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
For 3-on-3 basketball, we
Oh.
bought a little mini basketball goal and had people go around and like dunking on people. Hey, sign up. You just got dunked on.
And do you guys have like a schedule, exact schedule for when events happens for like interval?
We have a general idea of kind of what we're going to do per the semester, but in terms of like a set schedule of when the seasons are going to start and where the games are going to be played at, we don't, because we have to see how many teams sign up, which limits our scheduling, and also we have to fight for facilities so much that, I mean, I scheduled like the championship flag football game like today for tomorrow, and because we don't have a set. Like the intramural gym is the one space that we can usually get, and even then we've had to fight athletics when there's just been cheerleaders in the dance team and they're not on the calendar.
They never will be.
Nope, they never will be.
She doesn't want to put them on there.
Yep. I mean, for example, I made sure that we were going to have Field O, which is the big field down below the LLC that used to be a lacrosse practice field. I RSVP'd for that field in like July for all year. And then once the track was being renovated, they moved men and women's soccer down there without telling me.
Oh, you mean the intramural field?
No, the intramural field is actually the band practice field.
Yeah, which is the same practice field as what you're talking about. Isn't
No, I'm talking about the other field down below the LLC.
Oh,
that big
okay.
field.
I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I mean, we were kicked off that. We
The
spent,
whole
For the biology program just hanging out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
we
that
spent
really
hundreds
where
of
the
dollars
Oh.
getting that field ready for flag football and just had to just not use it. So we don't have the capacity to just get like that. I wish we did, because it would increase participation and we want
Yes.
everybody to come out. But we have to do with what we're doing.
I'm sure the
We
intramural
are
field will probably be
a
more available now.
Downtown, little southern downtown school.
Oh,
Limited
yeah.
on space.
Mhm.
So Jake, you've been through this before. 4,000 is a lot of money. So if is it like all or nothing, or will a little bit help? Can you buy 6 boats to start with, or whatever, cut that in half, or would that defeat the purpose? Don't want to go there, but
Well, 6. I mean, it depends on what you cut out. If you cut out maybe all of the extra stuff, if something tears and breaks, for
Right.
example, I think maybe you could probably shave off. If I did the math right when I figured it up, you could probably shave off maybe 1,000 by just not buying the replacement equipment, which we can go back and then purchase that as needed without like a penalty. You know.
yeah, and you could build it into your really big intramural budget next year, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Along with those intramural gym renovations.
Right.
Yeah.
And the raises to the intramural director.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe make it a full-time position.
When you guys make teams, do they have to pay like a set sum to be a part of the team?
No, intramurals is something
Free.
that's free for all students
Free,
on campus. Yeah, it sure is. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously we'll take whatever you're willing to offer. I don't know if it was anything less than half, if that we would be able to cover it just for the sake of our budget for the rest of the year. Our biggest event coming up in the spring is going to be Barefoot again, which I don't know if you guys remember that from last year, but it was kind of like a decathlon kind of deal where we had a bunch of
The
events
coolest thing ever. You all should
all happening at once. It was really great.
Is that where they have that laser tiger thing in there?
So
Oh, I watched. I read.
we're just kind of limited.
I actually plan on participating.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I was gonna say something back here.
Thank you, Zach.
Cool.
Thanks,
All right. Thank you.
Good
guys.
seeing you.
See you later, Jake. Bye, baby.
And let me call that.
Thanks for calling.
Tim.
The Rocket.
13,
rocket.
I'd like to-
Yeah, it's the bear
I
team.
want to rebounce that.
Pretty much they call them the rocket team, but they have the bear.
That's right, what they want.
It was so much fun. I did a launch today for my project.
Did you?
Yes.
You hurt anybody?
Nope. I have a video of it. You want to see it?
Did it go well?
Oh,
Like
yes.
how high did it go?
So mine ended up going about 500 feet.
That's pretty high. Did it have a parachute or does it crash back down?
No, it had a patch. We had an egg in it, and we had to make sure the egg didn't break.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, armed and dangerous.
Actually, yes.
This one
Yeah.
actually has a rocket in it, so.
Motor.
Or a motor, yeah.
And maybe-
Just when I get started. So pass these around real quick.
Be careful passing this around, it will come apart on you.
Thank you.
Look at here. Oh, thanks. Thank you.
This
Oh
is
my
ready.
goodness, that's
SGA
adorable.
motor.
Take that around.
But wouldn't
Pulls
that
apart
like
parachute inside.
Yeah, but still.
It's pretty sweet.
Thank you.
Does that defeat the purpose?
Something
wouldn't
may
that
have
be-
I've
happened
seen
to
this
that
like 3
helmet.
times.
It was a bear. The
Like,
bear
wouldn't
got
that kill
good.
him?
It's one of them clean on.
We go like this.
Big purple.
They took bear and ran with it. It just happened to work out. We were launching a balloon for it.
Let me just tell you. other
So the 2 rockets that you're passing around, for those of you who were here last year on SGA, we requested money in order to buy those kits to launch them at Midland, and those were just 2 of the kits that we bought and that we have designed. And the one that you're holding, Dr. Custer, is that the one that we actually launched here last month. That Dean Katie attended our launch back at Oakwood.
That's the orange one.
Yeah, this little baby one. That fits in with the regulations of the FAA and the ATF and NAR. We have to go to bigger fields and bigger places for things like that.
Okay.
I was gonna say, you guys ready to get started?
Sure, go
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
let's keep going. We listen.
We are the Ballooning Engineering and Rocketry Club, otherwise known as Bear Club. My name is Jackson Cook. I am the newly appointed president, as our previous president, John, decided to graduate in the fall, so he is leaving us. This is Juan Hernandez, our vice president. And yeah. Alright, so the first 2 pages you're going to run into are proposal form. This is a newly updated one, the first one. The second one is the one that was actually submitted. We ran into some errors after it was submitted. The wrong budget was used between me and Juan. And also we had planned for a November launch that was postponed due to weather. We have decided to re-up these launches. Actually, we're planning on launching this one right here, the 1st and 2nd of December. So basically, a quick blurb about us. We like to launch high-powered rockets under the ATF FAA rules. So we have certain places like Midland, North Carolina, and when Midland can't handle those rules, we have a place in South Carolina we go that allow for bigger altitude ceilings. So what we're requesting for, the main thing is rocket motors. As you can see, $1,144.81. Travel to get to these places. That number is per trip, as a round trip. These are based off going to Midland, North Carolina. The last sheet, there's a budget. It'll show. We can talk about that here a little bit more. And then the third one, launching fees. We charge $75 per semester for somebody who wants to be in there.
The Rocketry Club we launched with, they, for security reasons and to make sure that their insurance and NAR compliance, we have to pay this fee each semester, which is $75 in order for us to launch under Dr. Knight's certification.
And that puts us at our budget of $1,314. Right now, we just plan, since the semester's winding down, we're hoping for a raffle at a men's and women's basketball game. And we're shooting
to raffle off various electronics, anything we can find on Amazon. We did purchase some various items on the Black Friday and today, Cyber Monday, but we're hoping to net $350 off of that. And then that'll leave us with around $975, which leaves us with asking $1,000 for this fall semester to fund our club. Then we'll go into a little bit more detail on this last page, and Juan will take over the show.
So as you can see, our expenses are with motors. So building rockets is pretty cheap. You can buy these things at Lowe's. You can get mounting tubes at Walmart or your local UPS. But the motors is what this is. As you can see there, it's a G. This one's an Aerotech G87. One of these is a single use, which costs $80. Or my bad. Individually, it costs us $35.30. So this type of motor can only fit for this rocket. But we're currently building a bigger rocket, which is a 54 millimeter, and that size motor is used for the Aerotech K1000. So one of those motors simply just costs $150. An example, another one that we're trying to launch is an I motor that runs at $47. It's just a bigger diameter for more impulse. And we can't launch these here at LR, of course, so we have to launch these at Midland. And the good thing is that our vendor Ken Allen is certified, and he can purchase these motors and sell them to us without us paying the HAZMAT fee and other fees that would make these prices be even more costly. So we're trying to find ways to reduce the amount of money that goes into motors. And then on the next one, we can see the travel fees. We usually drive Dr. Knight's Lincoln Navigator. That usually houses all the motors, rockets, anything that won't fit in my Ford Focus or in another team's members Mini Cooper. So we usually put everybody in those two cars, and Dr. Knight drives separately. And down here you can see that it's approximately 160 miles per trip to get to Midland, North Carolina. Down here are the averages of our vehicles at a rate of $2.50 per gallon, and that brings up our total to be at the bottom.
Short and sweet.
Do you guys have any questions?
So just so I'm not confused. In the very first section, this one, it says someone requested 1,000.
Okay, what's your question there?
So is it 1,000 or 1,300?
The amount requested on is going to be on the first one, which is the $1,000.
Okay.
Yes, this is completely revised. We do apologize.
Okay,
We're
no,
in a
sorry.
specific, very time crunch. We do apologize about that.
Traveling wise, have you ever thought about like just renting an LR van, possibly?
We brought up that idea, but for some reason our mentor advised against it. We weren't really sure why, but we can bring that back to the table.
I think I can answer that.
Okay.
I think the reason is I think Dr. Knight has to be the one driving the vehicle, and these launches are on Saturday and Sunday. So most of the members, or for example, I sometimes work in Greensboro, another member is back home. So a lot of us aren't here during the weekends, and we all just meet at Midland, North Carolina, here for us. And we don't have to rely on Dr. Knight. And also I think he's the only one able to drive the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
We believe it's just a bigger hassle for us. In the club.
Do you guys have any club fees for the members?
Yes, $5. As stated in the Constitution.
Did we fund you last year?
I think yes, sir. We funded us in the last of April.
Okay, so we should expect requests from the club every year for funding.
And this says fall, so are you guys planning to come back in the spring?
Yes. The way that the calendar season works out with ROCC is that they have a launch beginning from November all the way to May, and that's when the crops on the field are planted, so we're no longer able to launch. So we have a specific window that we like to launch. We like to launch every week or every month. Doc and I, myself, and a couple other students, we just like to launch. And also, we go there it's just, I guess, a little hobby that we all like.
So how much are you, like, if you had to guess, would you be requesting in the spring?
In the spring, we're not sure yet. We have to.
It depends based on the members we have, who really wants to put in the time and effort to go launch a rocket, because we're willing to go as long as our members are willing to go. So it just, we really just can't tell because we don't know who is what schedules are gonna be like and what conflicts are gonna come about later on down the road. So we don't want to request a different amount and then have to come back and say, oh, well.
Yeah.
It will definitely be lower than lower than this amount for sure. Like I said, basically the motors is the most costly. I think the next time that we do come, it'd be less motors, more high power kits.
Okay, thank you. Have you guys thought about increasing your funds to $10 for dues instead of $5? If you have 5 members, it's for $5, it's $25. If you do $10 for 5 members, that's $50. That just doubles your budget.
Yeah.
Have you guys thought about it?
No, we haven't. No. Just open for a suggestion. That we are pretty. Launch rockets is really burning money. So we should probably consider increasing it.
I mean, you get like 10 students to pay $10. You're paying for one travel fee.
Yeah,
down there.
that is true.
I mean, personally, I kind of thought that was good that you guys keep it low. I mean, you want to give people some skin in the game, like we just talked about with somebody else, but so they stay committed. But I don't know.
We like to keep it low because
I think that's fine.
Our idea, because it's hard to, because a lot of freshmen coming in have never had any type of experience with rockets whatsoever. Yeah. So yeah, it may seem cool, but it also may seem extremely difficult. So, and I imagine many freshmen are tight on fun because we want people. We want to educate people and say, hey, this is cool. It's not that hard. Just come have a good time because it is a really good time shooting yourself high up in the air.
I know, Emily, you've launched a rocket.
Yeah, I launched one today.
You did a great job today. Yeah.
I wasn't bashing your fees. This is a lot of clubs either have no fees or they have about $10 fee. That's why I was like,
how many students are in the club?
Students right now, I think we have roughly 12 members.
Okay.
Open for more if any of you guys want.
Yeah, sometimes we ask, or often, maybe always, we ask what, if we fund you, sort of what kind of recognition the SGA would get, or more importantly, how what you're doing would benefit the student body at large. Because it sounds like your guys, 12 of you are having a blast. Literally, sorry, fun. Sorry. Oh man, sorry, had to call myself out on that. But so how do you see? I mean, do you see any way of bringing some of that back to campus, that excitement? Because it sounds like you're really into it and everything. It's
so we've started this club last year.
Right.
We're fresh to the game.
Yeah.
We're also involved in another competition. NASA U is last. So we've tried to keep these two entities separate. One club, one competition. We do have a Facebook and Instagram, also a website that we post some of the outreach that we do with the community and at Midland, North Carolina as well. We're also, this year we've gotten more outreach within the LR community. This logo here, especially this logo, was designed by one of the LR students, Bridget, yes. She designed this. With the art department actually worked with us to design this. And also another official logo that we have. I don't know if you guys would want those websites. We could forward you those pages.
I mean, we did also do, what was it, 2 weeks ago, we did a launch here on O Field, and Dean Katie was able to attend, and she actually got to launch one of the rockets, press the button to get it to engage. But we are looking for more people to come out to those and do more as long as we can get interest. And so right now, as the semester's winding down, we probably wouldn't try to do one of those right now, but that could be something we could definitely say, you know, even at SGA sponsored launch, you know, in the middle of April or something like that when we have time, just to get a lot of people out there. You know.
The good thing, we can launch these smaller rockets. We have permits. You don't need a license or certification to launch low powered vehicles. Let me just show you a difference between the motors. So we're allowed to launch something like this. Something like this is gonna fly, but barely. So these rockets are visible up to 200, 300 feet. We're not launching anywhere, any crazy altitudes. We are open, like you said, to do more launches here in the community. Next semester, I guess we can work with you guys since you have more connections to make the launch more, to get more attendance. That would be something we'd be interested in, bringing more people.
One of
to
the
events.
One of the ideas, because our logos did come in a little later than we had originally expected, one of our ideas we had ran by Dean Katie was the possibility of, you know, getting up on the PowerPoint and Cromer and possibly on LR's website, you know, to advertise, like, come out, show your support, and, you know, it's all around a good time. Just, you may not think just standing there and watching, but it's kind of fun to see if a rocket's actually going to deploy its parachute or not. And if it doesn't, then it's really funny. Anybody can attest to that.
Kind of going off both of what you guys were mentioning, because you had a question. Do you guys broadcast like live feeds of when you guys go, or would you consider that for students to watch?
Usually when we go launch at Midland, it's honestly in the middle of nowhere, so we do not have signal. We record those launches by either attaching a GoPro to the rocket or at a certain distance. But
that's probably
live feed, it's very difficult because, like I said, you're not able to launch a rocket according to the rules. You're not able to use certain motors within a certain limitation. Like buildings, homes have to be a certain distance, and you can't do that here in Hickory.
No,
you have to go in remote air, not remote.
Yeah.
But we did have a student who joined the team who does have enjoys drones, so he was able to get us some really cool footage of the previous launches we've done this year. So that's what we found is a lot more useful when putting a video together.
Any more questions? Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Well, thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your time.
Then you're gonna hear back from us.
Pardon?
But then we are gonna get in touch with you guys.
Okay.
All right. Read that. Yes, it's based on some settings. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess since we are fresh in this one, we can. Since we are fresh with the rocket, we can put.
Yeah, I just encourage you guys to watch your discussion time and everything.
Yeah.
So the night doesn't go on too long.
Which one started with first?
3 minutes.
Y'all have 3 minutes, I think you're.
Okay, yeah, that's
It's
fair enough.
better than that.
Okay, with the rocket, because they just finished, so
Yeah.
that's the. Right, they're requesting 1,500? No, 1,300.
1,000.
1,000.
It's all
1,000.
Okay. Alright. What he said.
I thought he said, no, I thought
He
he said
said 13.
1,300.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
they
their
asked that
initial,
question.
their budget total was, but they're
But then
only
they have the-
offering,
I heard
asking for
that
1,000
Oh, okay.
Because they're gonna fundraise 350, so it's going down to
Yeah.
for their raffle.
Need
So
to know,
they're
they don't know.
asking for
1,000.
1,000.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
I think it's cool, I like it.
Any comments, like partial funding, full funding, what do you guys think?
Didn't, maybe, I don't know. You said something about that she said, notice that they're asking for less than they need, but I don't know if that was.
was the old one,
Yeah, I
that was
think
the
that's
old
because
one.
it said 1,314, but no, they're only asking for 1,000.
Yeah, she said we have fully funded Bear for at least 1,500. Oh, we forgot to ask about their GoFundMe.
But they are planning on coming back. I mean, one of the things,
They come back.
next semester.
Probably
I'm
want to
just
do
worried about these
the
groups
NASA
that are,
project
you know,
dependent.
if you spend all your money for a lot of it this time,
Yeah.
you're gonna get new groups plus repeat groups.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hopefully they'd be smart about it and not go saying, hey, SGA gives us $1,000 every semester, y'all should go to, because
Yeah.
they may not get it. I mean, just for the sake of time, I think we should give them $750 and have them aimed at a little bit higher for their fundraising.
Yeah, that sounds like a
I
good
like
Mind that thing,
I like
yes.
that idea.
Yeah, and especially because they have a GoFundMe and we don't know how much. that
Yeah.
has.
If you go to it, it's good now.
Okay, I think we need a motion to approve 750 for the rocket team.
I'll make a motion.
Did you?
No, I'm not a member. So the reason I would shot off a rocket today is because I'm in the physics class and we do that as a project.
Okay.
I was just trying to make sure, because
She
if
doesn't
she
have to
was,
stay.
I'm not a member.
if she was a member, we would have to be wary of that, but you're good.
We'd
Okay.
have to ask her to
Yeah,
abstain or.
she would not be aware.
Alright,
I'm not a
Y'all
member.
got 23
I don't
seconds.
see it.
I love it how. Okay.
Sam makes a motion. Who's second?
Alright.
I'll
Motion
second.
then
Brett.
was to 750 for the rocket team. Second, Brett. Anyone opposed? Great. So the motion carry over, and Peyton, no, for the rocket team, and then we need to communicate that to you. Great.
Sorry. Why is it on that? Oh wait, okay, yeah.
Alright.
Good.
Intramurals.
Good intramural. I was wondering when we'll go over to that. 4,000 is quite a lot from my opinion.
Yeah.
Is there any chance, and not to put you on the spot or anything, but would not Ka be interested in like joining forces?
I mean, we could, since we're like up there with student life and stuff.
I mean, it will be worth it to mention Chantel if she will be like, hey.
I will. I'll mention it to her and see how she feels and then get back.
What is your guys' budget? Do you know?
I don't know, because I
think
haven't.
It's more than all.
I don't know our exact budget.
Just letting
It's,
you
I
know.
think
Yeah.
it's like 20-ish% more than ours, maybe.
I used to serve on Catholic.
I might be wrong about that.
I think you could start
To be
off
honest,
with-
like if I know, I would tell you, but
It's just-
I haven't been
so-
going
Yeah,
to the
I don't
meetings,
know what our
so-
exact budget is, but I know that we have a lot planned for next semester.
I think
That's
we
a
could
lot.
start out with him taking out the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Cause that the overall idea is cool,
Who's
and
extra
I would love to see more people come out for
Like, he has an
intramurals,
extra,
but if we
like-
can take out all the extra
so,
stuff
like,
that
some
we
of the
don't
extra, like-
need right now, something breaks
I
along
don't
the
know,
way, we
like
can
the
figure that out.
like the strip
Yeah.
I just wanna know what
and stuff.
happened,
He
the
bought extra
coding
stuff.
one didn't finish it, like they got started.
He can
on
narrow
it,
that
or,
down
like,
to like.
And it says like
money, was it
Well,
like
he said
what, like what
it would take
was the-
$1,000 off.
I don't know.
They have several ideas. This was one of them. I'm sure they also had an idea to do like paintball tanks. So they wanted to buy like 3 or 4 tanks, and it'd be 2v2. No, I'm serious. They
That's
wanted to buy like
awesome.
legit tanks and
Yeah, it's awesome.
they'd fire.
I
at
would
each other.
approve $4,000.
Um,
That's awesome. That's the
They wanted to do
goal.
something else. I think it was like kind of like dodgeball again,
We
but
could do a sponsored
it might have just been regular paintball.
But
So they had like several ideas they were figuring on that could have been the reason why they didn't.
That's flawed.
Okay, so anyway, he said they're
So they're asking $4,000 and about the tax included, it's about 2,400, 4,200.
I would ask for a resubmission without all the extra stuff.
Like with a minimum price, like minimal.
I know,
Yeah,
because
cause
like, but if we talk about
Okay.
something
We took out.
So I'm assuming we agree they need to resubmit with a lower
And talk to them.
request.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
get in touch
Someone
with Gab and see if they can
yeah, it's
get a
18
partnership.
credit hours.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Great.
But,
Yeah, whatever that is.
we're getting
someone moved that and seconded.
rented
I'll
out
make a
to
motion.
5 for
I second.
So people can down please. Motion for
Motion to, I guess what was we recommend Jake,
to resubmit.
resubmit with a little bit more of a streamlined budget.
Okay.
You all know what I mean, papers on.
Requesting essentials.
Quite, yeah, essentials.
The extra stuff.
Pick out the extra stuff.
Yeah, I
So
second.
motion for request essential.
Second.
Olivia second.
It
Anyone
carried.
opposed? Thank you. So we need to communicate that to Jake. Finally, Model UN that was rating $2,000.
Yeah, asking for what?
They were asking for $2,000 as a reimbursement for their hotels and registration fees.
So.
What are your thoughts about
Why
that?
don't people come to us before?
We have got, that is,
Yeah.
that is backing us in a corner, and it makes you feel bad if you don't approve it. And so that, there's got to be something that's communicated about it. And Dr. Brandis, maybe you can speak to that, but I feel, cause it makes me feel guilty if we don't approve it.
I feel like
And
this is
that's
the
not
first year we've had problems with it though.
You're talking about being reimbursed?
Reimbursed,
Oh,
because
yeah.
if I, like, if I say I spent $1,000 on some club that I'm in,
I did a whole internship.
and I say, oh, hey, y'all, I spent $1,000 and I really need the reimbursement kind of thing, like, that you're gonna be more likely to approve it than if they request, again, like, if Rocket Club had already spent it, then, or Dr. Knight, for example, then we would have probably given him a little bit more of the full, closer to the full amount,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, that's just,
I just don't know how people
Side
think that.
note.
I wouldn't expect that, really.
Well, you did, just for apples to apples, I guess, you did, vote to, reimburse the English program. So it wouldn't be like you haven't done it before. Hate to use that, that way of
Yeah.
thinking.
no, you're right,
I think it's
yeah,
like,
you're
I feel
right.
like we've never had
But-
problems with
yeah.
people coming in.
The only thing I would say,
Yeah.
sorry, the only thing I'd say about this is I've been in this position before where like, okay, you just found out that to get the discount rate, which they did, you have to like go ahead and send in your credit card and use your own credit card and all this stuff. And I don't know how people think about this, where they think, well, I hope I'll get reimbursed, or they think I'll probably get reimbursed, or, you know, I'll take what I can get, I don't know. But, you know, this, so they're gonna come back and ask us for 4,000,
Yeah.
essentially the same
Mhm.
group in the spring. But
That'd be-
they've
yeah.
spent this, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough call. You guys
And
have
then
to
last year we
decide
gave them 4,000, is that correct?
for something else, for the other part of Model UN.
Okay.
So this is the club, this is new.
Well, what she's saying, what are they asking for the spring class
For 4,000.
and the club? Okay.
Because I
But
feel
that's
like
gonna be like
since we
international trade. They will address it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
They will
Yeah.
try to get requests from the international office and stuff like that.
Well, what she's saying
So-
is students already
They
pay.
got $5 million, so, you know.
Didn't you say something about students paying for something?
Yeah, she said,
She
I
mentioned it.
understand if we don't give her the full amount, because she thinks they should have skin in the game.
Oh, I thought they.
And then
And
they've
they
already
paid
paid some
500,
of it,
500.
they paid something, like
Yeah.
500 total.
Can we extend the time?
Yeah, y'all need to extend the tax.
Alright,
Yes.
yes please. Any number that you would like to throw?
I say give them this amount, and I feel like she has an expectation that we're gonna give her 4,000, because that's what we gave them last year, so like maybe say, don't expect 4th of next semester. Like, you know, I don't know how to do that, but.
I feel like
You know what I mean?
I feel like we should give them like maybe like 1,200 or 1,500 and tell her to go to her students and say, hey, you need to fundraise. If
I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I feel like there should be more responsibility on the students.
Very true.
Especially because
Very true.
I would rather see a student in here than seeing
Yep.
a professor. I feel like that doesn't show much responsibility or initiative on their part.
Mhm.
Actually,
I'm saying
I
that in the
agree.
nicest way
I
possible.
agree.
I've just seen so many people come in here all the time. I've been here in SGA for 3 years, so I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
You're over.
Like
You're
the
done.
professors are coming in.
So one thing to speed up the process. 1,200. Yes, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's it.
I'll make a motion to approve $1,200 reimbursement to Model Unit.
Motion for $1,200 reimbursement for the Molian group. Is there any second?
This is gonna be the last
Somebody
meeting
second.
here ever.
Someone says.
She's gonna run us, yeah. Is anyone opposed?
Clayton, second.
$100.
Okay, so the motion's carried
I
on.
want to take a full schedule over something.
You could have been really generous.
Yeah.
No, I think we've been pretty conservative.
This is what nursing.
Alright, did we touch that one?
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be in nurse.
There was just too much
I'm
work
gonna
in
take
it.
some
Good.
more gasoline.
Let's tackle your thing first.
Wait, yeah.
So are we
I
gonna
was
do
meaning
this?
that I
already
switched
got
off
this.
job for all this. I just served on SGA long enough and I'm just yeah.
Let's move.
Okay, so real quick, I think that I'm really proud of the students that we had come to participate in the panel last week. The 4 students who actually spoke. I'm not including myself in that. And I talked to Dean Katie and I talked to Santiago, and I think we should give them a little bit of an incentive, basically between $10 to $20 gift card to the local restaurant, just to say thank you guys for participating. I'll also build that into my recommendations for next year. It will actually go into the budget for it, because it's always a commitment to take something in the middle of the day, and y'all, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was just those who were there. I mean, they had no idea what I was going to be asking them, and I mean, just hit a home run. And so, I'm very proud of them. I know 2 are my close friends, but just for the whole group. So that's what I'm requesting. If it's approved, I'll go talk to Nick Katie and see what we've got. Brainstorm the ideas. And so basically, I need 4 gift cards between 10 to 20. I'd rather see it towards 20 or even at 15. So it'd be again between $40 and $80, depending on what you guys approve. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. There we go.
Someone will need to make a motion for those cards.
I make a motion to get them.
Great. So motion to get
What's the amount?
dinner
What's the amount?
gift cards. We are gonna divide that right now.
Yeah.
$15 gift card.
$15 gift card for how many people?
4
For 4 people. So you $60 total.
I second it.
Great. Olivia seconds the motion. Is anyone opposed? Grace. Great. So
Thank you,
$60
guys.
for the people who chocolate. Great. Great. So let's do your consent.
Alright. This might need to, I say we, for the sake of time, I say that we let this be a discussion for the new semester, since it's gonna take, the Constitution's kind of vague. I think, even DKD said it was a little bit confusing, and it's probably because of how the offices are listed.
So basically, to give you an idea, the Constitution said when we have vacancy of the VP, Chief Justice is the person who steps up and fills that position. So in this case, because Sam is graduating, Clayton might be filling that position.
And this isn't saying anything bad about Clayton, the only thing is, are you technically a junior?
By next semester, I will be a junior.
By
yeah.
next semester, you'll be.
But me and Dean Katie looked at it, and because I'll be a rising junior, it would be eligible to take that position.
It'd also be, like, I guess, would you want to? That's the other. Because if
I
you-
received an email
I
a few
let
days
him know
ago
that you're
asking
gonna
if
be.
I'll take the position, and I said yes.
Okay, all right. That's I think that's fair.
Okay, the only thing I would say is I talked to Dean Katie too, and she just texted me and, thought that, they could handle both of these positions because thank goodness you don't have a lot on your plate in the other, so you would be holding both positions at the same time. Just to be clear about that.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
And it would be for one semester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And frankly, Clayton, this job, you just run around doing whatever you want. That's what's great about being repicked. No, I'm just kidding. No, it really is a great.
I know.
It's fun because like you do. It's like you're almost like a special project guy. I've enjoyed it. I think you are more than capable.
Sorry, one other question. So, is it your understanding that, so you have a council? You don't have a council?
Well, I am in charge of the class president.
Okay, there we go. That's not-
And I have,
They are
and
kids.
basically what I will do, Clayton, is I have ownership in a grouping and I will pass that. I'll add you and then give you the ownership.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Communicating.
Great. Other thing we would like to time for next semester.
Well, no, we
Okay.
need to like,
Yeah, this is a-
just need to endorse this, we need to vote.
I think it needs to.
Thinking, how are we doing with time? Good.
Nope, are we gonna, we kind of have to vote right now.
Okay.
So someone has to approve, right?
Oh, okay.
The motion, somebody has to make a motion that we accept.
So,
Yeah.
Clayton
so a
as-
motion to accept that
yes,
Clayton
that's it.
become the VP?
Yes.
Someone seconded.
Good. So
Yeah.
motion for Clayton to fill out the vacancy of Sam as VP. Is there any second?
Second.
Great. Olivia seconds it. So is anyone opposed?
Who was the first?
Yeah.
Who did I motion it
Emily.
myself?
Yeah.
You motioned it.
You just said
Yeah.
I was confirming, but okay.
She motioned, she seconded, and then.
Confirmed.
Yes. Great. So
Good
Clayton's
job,
gonna be
Olivia.
your
We didn't know
new
we did it.
VP
We did it.
for the next meeting.
Congratulations.
You're good.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
Ryan.
Thank you.
You should read it. It's really good.
No? Alright.
If you want to. It's short.
Oh. Bye. I'm out.
No, you can take a look at it later.
alright, what else?
Great. So I just will quickly pass this so you can see. I thought it would be a good idea if we can order that like solar umbrella for next semester just to check it out how it works. It's $73 free shipping, so it's not a lot. Hopefully that works. We are gonna move towards that direction and avoid more expensive solar stuff that goes like to 2,000 or more, which is quite expensive.
It's like the umbrella he wants to get.
And it's gotten more expensive because companies aren't coming out with new stuff as
So it's
soon
like
now because the
has a
incentives have
USB
ended
charger,
government
power
wise.
bank, and it's
Yeah.
tiltable.
So,
I'll
because
see
a
it
while
for
there it was
sure.
really solar stuff was even cheap.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it's even worth it to look at. It's like almost 10,000, which is quite.
Well, try that one. That one may not be
So
very
did we
sturdy or
decide
very
we
fast.
were not going over this? We're going
Never
to
done
bring
until you try it.
It's
Is
yeah.
this what I wanted to bring up?
I mean,
For this is this one. She had it.
probably will not last
No,
2 years. But
Y'all were just going over it for the vice president.
Correct. So we thought that it was gonna be a little bit more of a debate, but apparently that debate was actually taken care of. So we're good.
Alright, so.
And I'm no longer a voting member of this, and I'm the one kicked out.
These two stuff. Pulmonary and basil.
How many of these do you want to get, Santiago?
just one.
Just
Just try it out.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid because it's that cheap, like how it's gonna kind of work out.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
want to do a tryout.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I personally think we should probably kind of go over the Constitution a little bit next semester. Which I guess that's kind of my job as Chief Justice. So do you want me to kind of look over this with Dean Katie and see areas we can fix, and then the next meeting, bring it to you guys.
Please.
Okay, I'm just making sure, I don't wanna.
Yeah.
Alright.
I make a motion to get one of those umbrellas.
Thank you. I was.
Okay.
Second.
Seconded by Peyton. Is anyone opposed? Thank you very much.
Where are you planning on putting that?
Yeah.
Show Plaza.
Just take one of those out that's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically where the sun give the most. Great. Yes.
Sorry.
Would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
No,
No, we're not doing meeting
meeting
time.
time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we don't.
I thought you were saying like meeting time, like.
No, I'm just awesome.
Okay. We need to discuss the meeting time first, and then we need to.
Mhm. No, well, I don't know if we'll be able to decide right now, because
Okay.
we don't know about Dean Katie's schedule.
Yeah.
But I would like to have an option or two to take to her,
Yeah.
and so, in addition to Santiago and Clayton, that would be the president and vice president. If we met same time, same day, we'd be missing those two officers, right? I can live with that.
And Matt said he couldn't meet on Mondays.
That too.
Yeah, Matt said he couldn't meet.
So actually, Clayton and myself we can do Monday. So most likely, we are not gonna have the same day and time for next semester.
Okay.
Is there any other night that someone like cannot do, like just from the top of your head?
Wednesday night, that last 5 to 7.
Same.
So other than
Thursdays. I can't. I think earlier in the week and maybe Tuesday,
Tuesday.
same time.
Oh, yeah.
How's that affect you guys who are running around?
He decides our practices next semester. We won't
Oh,
know
you
our
haven't
practice
yet.
schedule yet.
we will not have a meeting.
But if we tell him that we have this, he will move our practice schedule around this. So
The
if
day.
you tell us a time, then we're good.
Yeah, I would prefer 6:30. If we're gonna go and have hour and a half or 2-hour meetings,
Mhm.
I would prefer
Yeah.
starting at 6:30, not 6:45.
Yeah.
How about, will that affect commuting? And
Honestly.
No, so usually I TA, so I'm here till 5.
so you stay here
I
anyway?
stay, and
Any-
sometimes, like today, I didn't have lab.
Okay, cause I
and
wanna
so
be
I went
sensitive
home
to the
to get back.
community folks. So you wanna propose that and see if that fits with Dean Katie's schedule?
Yes.
Tuesday, 6:30,
Tuesdays.
every other,
Perfect. Just to keep in mind.
Means
Good.
adjourn?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Anyone second the
I-
motion?
I can't motion, but someone can.
Okay,
Second.
second by Clayton.
I'm just saying someone needs to motion.
Conrad.
Motion to move.
Thanks, everyone.
Leave.
Thank you. Have a great break.
Wow.
And Nathaniel, then
Oh,
we go back together and we talk.
Did you do cab?
I
Oh, yeah, we
finished.
do cab. Yeah. The meeting